So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our special video again. And this time we're going to be talking about Dreshkan chart related to your marriage. And one thing about your marriage, you want to know the secret of timing of marriage? Timing of when you will get married? I'm going to upload that video today on my blank chart prediction course, which is all the ascendants in one. And you will see at the very end, there will be a chapter called marriage timing. And it's a special calculation you do. Simple but special calculation to see when marriage will happen. Okay. But as you know, Dreshkan, this is a chart. And I've talked about how you can literally see if a person has potential for wealth. Okay. But Dreshkan is what is really going to show you the attitude of your spouse and what your spouse is truly about. Now, these are not contradicting statements that, okay, first you talked about a birth chart Venus or birth chart Mars, because Mars will take for the husband, for the spouse. Or now Navamsha, now you're adding Dreshkan. Yes, remember, you're not a robot. I'm not a robot. We are multifaceted beings. We are beings with different dimension and different point of the day. We are multi-layered creatures. We are not black or white. We are 50 shades of gray. This is why you must look at these things to totally understand. Okay, like for example, Dreshkan. Why would you see Dreshkan for your spouse's attitude? What is Dreshkan about? Dreshkan is about what you're doing. What is a planet going to make you do and the output that it's going to give? Is a planet active or is a planet lazy? When you do something, are the results fully 100% or you're only giving 50% of the result? Okay. And from that, you go to D9, Navamsha. Meaning whatever I have now put in D3, what fortune am I getting in the D9? What fruits am I getting? That's why it's fruits of karma. This is why you want to take a segue to D3 before you go to D9. So whenever your spouse is doing something, they're about to take an action. Okay, like for example, if your spouse is about to take action and you tell them, hey, don't do it, because this is what's going to happen, then that could happen. Now, if Venus is, let's say, exalted in the sign of Pisces, spouse is going to have strong pride and stubbornness in them. You see how that changes with Venus and Pisces in the Navamsha, where spouse may love music, classical knowledge, classical literature, fighting for children's rights, animals' rights, right? That's Navamsha Venus. In Dreshkan, the spouse is going to be stubborn, meaning wife. Venus is going to be for wife. Wife is going to be stubborn, very proudful. Why? Because Venus is truly exalted in the Dreshkan. You want to know about debilitation and exaltation? Look at a D3 chart. That is going to be the true self. So Venus is exalted, high. Like Lakshmi is at its highest point. She's going to have a strong pride related to what she does. So this is why it is important to look at Venus. So like for example, and now look, with the houses, there's a special thing. It's going to be too long of a video if I take you through houses. But with Dreshkan, what we're doing, the first 10 degrees of any zodiac sign in your birth chart, the planet will be in that particular sign. Then the middle 10 degrees, it goes to the sign 5th from itself. The last 10 degrees, the planet will go 9th from itself. When a planet is in the same sign in birth and Dreshkan, its quality triples. Its quality triples. Now imagine if you have a Venus exalted in the birth and in Dreshkan. It's like you're going to be talking to a rock wall instead of a spongy wall in terms of spouse. When Venus is 5th from itself, you will see when the spouse comes in your life, they start manifesting Lakshmi in your life. Because fifth house is giving birth to something. Fifth house is creating something. So Venus naturally fifth from itself makes a person creative in a lot of things. And Venus fifth from itself, so when the spouse comes in, fifth house is a house of Lakshmi. Lakshmi comes in. How much or how little, you have to see the sign and the house placement of Venus. When Venus goes ninth from itself, that means whatever you're getting through Venus, do not think you're getting it on your own merit. You're not. It is your Pitris who are giving you that. Once Venus or any planet that is going ninth from itself, it is attached to the Bhagya of your lineage, your Pitris, your ancestors. Whatever they have done in their life, you're going to get result of that. Bad or good? We don't know. We have to obviously see the chart. But you're going to get result of that. Okay. So if Venus, let's say, goes into Aries, right? The spouse is going to be extremely sharp. Spouse is going to overdo things. You tell the spouse to do one thing, they will do 5 other things. And they're going to be very quick action oriented. When they want to do something and get something, they'll jump on it right away. There won't be patience. And you will see that after marriage, when your spouse is doing things, they'll fight one big fight in their life with someone. And spouse is going to have a masculine nature. The wife is going to have masculine nature, and use the same thing with Mars. Mars is your husband. So whether I'm saying Venus or Mars, it's going to be that thing. Venus goes in Taurus. Okay. So spouse is going to be lazy, stubborn. Okay. They're going to be stubborn as a mule, stubborn as a bull. They will not do anything until they want to do something. And especially with this Venus, it shows spouse is coming into your life because spouse wants luxury. That means because of this Venus, you get luxury and conveniences. So that means now you'll be able to provide your spouse with conveniences and luxury. So that is how you want to look at this particular Venus. Here Venus is strengthened because Venus is in Taurus. In Gemini, okay, spouse is going to have a nature of duality. First of all, as soon as the wife comes in, multiple sources of income becomes active in your guy's life. Whether it's through her or you're doing something, multiple sources of income will become active. And also there's going to be a strong masculine and strong feminine nature that comes out right at the right time. When you want your wife to become masculine, she becomes masculine. When you desire that, this is where I wish my wife would be feminine, she'll be feminine. So it's that perfect combination. And you will see spouse is going to desire to communicate, want to be in marketing, communication, sales. And when Venus goes into the sign of Cancer, overly emotional, overly sensitive, overly they get overly offended. Venus in Cancer and Dreshkan, spouse is going to get offended very easily. Venus is in a very, very moist and soft, like a clay-like ground. Ground is made of clay, which slips. So one wrong step and thing slips. And because of this Venus being in Cancer in the Dreshkan, if your flow of money was stuck before marriage, after marriage, the flow of money becomes active. Now, it may not be a Ganga river. It might be a small stream that might go in the back of your house in the hills. But Venus is going to activate a stream of gains and spending. It's going to be both ways. Because again, Cancer is a moksha sign. So wife is going to bring in expenses and cash flow. Both will be the thing. Okay. On the other hand, Venus going into the fifth house in Leo, or not in the fifth house in Leo, Venus simply being in Leo. Very egotistical spouse. Spouse is not going to budge from their decision, just like Venus being in Pisces, like I explained. Okay. Spouse is going to get angry when things are not done their way. It's going to be with Venus in Leo, my way or the highway. But you will see Venus in Leo in the Treshkan. See, I'll tell you. Venus in Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Pisces, Libra, and Virgo. These 6 signs will produce extremely good looking spouses. Very attractive spouses. Because what is Leo? Leo is a sign of the king. It's light. It's brightness. Spouse has this brightness that everybody wants to look at. Okay. Now, there are other things that we can also see with this Venus in Leo, because it's a sign that is very strong and heated and burned. Like you will see with Venus in Leo in the Dreshkan, spouse will always feel hot. Like, oh, it's too hot in here. And you have the ace heating on because you're cold. But spouse is going to shut that heating off because they're hot. They're too hot. The body is heating. Venus goes into Virgo. Okay. Spouse is going to be like an excellent personality. One of the best personalities you can get is your Venus in Virgo and Dreshkan. She is so humorous. She just understands signals. You know, when sometimes you look at your spouse and you squint your eyes like, don't do this, or do this, or let's not do this, like something. They understand it to the T. Because it's like sign language, right? And Mercury is one of the karakas of sign language. So especially with Venus and Virgo, they understand the sign language of the face and of the hands. Okay. When Venus is in Libra, you will see your spouse has the ability to help you to do business. Your spouse will have the ability to help you in creating self-earned income. Venus is in Libra, okay? Spouse is always going to somehow, some way, whether she does it on her own merit or you are able to provide to her, she wants the highest quality things. It doesn't mean that somebody is a snob. No, she just says, if we are going to buy a desk for our home, or we're going to buy a dining table, let's wait. Let's get a good quality table. Let's not get something cheap from Walmart or IKEA. I want to go to those, personal stores in a certain area, and I want to, instead of getting like a $500 dining table, let's save up. Let's get that $3,000 dining table. So once it's good for the next 10 years. This is the type of spouse you will get, and you will see now Venus is in Libra. But here you have to see the house. Which house Venus is in. Whichever house Venus is in, you will see your output towards that house will be the most in your life in terms of balancing out that relationship of that house. Like, I'll just give you an example. Venus is in the 5th house, let's say in Libra. Throughout life, post-marriage, you're going to be dealing with how to balance your relationship either with your children or how to balance your romance in the marriage so it actually gives you the better results in life. Venus is in Scorpio. Extremely angry, intense spouse which sometimes may have a split personality. Mood swings. Spouse, you will see, will have a strong karma with food. Okay? Like, you will see such a spouse, such a wife would have had such lack of food from past life that they will hoard a lot of food in this life, and that means they're going to waste food in this life. And if food gets wasted, because this is the output, they're doing something to waste food, meaning they're cooking too much, they're buying too much groceries where half of it goes to waste. That disturbs your married life. That will disturb how the balance of marriage is going. So always make sure that the food is not wasted. Venus in Scorpio, especially in Dreshkan, wife is going to be strong, hypersexual. They want that absolute intimacy. Like usually you will see such wives and women or in your life will be they would have held themselves quite a bit, restrained themselves early in life, but with you they open themselves up. Okay. The other thing with Venus and Scorpio, spouse deals with a certain trauma in life that they will always bring up within the marriage, of how it's affecting them because you're doing this and that. And remember, it could be anybody that you choose, because this is your Venus, or this could be your Mars. If spouse is in Sagittarius, very well educated, highly adventurous, ready to fight, will fight always. She doesn't back down from anything. Extremely goal oriented. Like if you want to learn how to set goals, you will learn once you are married. She will have like schedule full in her diary about where are we going, what are we doing, this is what we're gonna do, blah blah blah. So that's gonna be very strong, and especially spouse will have a very priest-like quality, priestess. People will always kind of look for her for advice. Okay, now conjunctions, remember, they change many things. Venus is in Capricorn, extremely hardworking. Okay, extremely creative. Venus in Capricorn, the spouse will never would want to be home. She always want to be employed somewhere. She always wants to do something somewhere. She'll be agitated if she has to be like a housewife. So even the circumstances is making her a housewife, you should always give your spouse ability to do something on their own. Maybe they should have a social media, generate something. They want to work. And especially you will see your spouse will overdo things for other people. In Dreshkan, they're overdoing things for other people outside, doing less within the home. Meaning, if some stranger, there's a homeless person out on the street, on the side, on the corner, they will come back home while it's raining. They will pick up some nice blanket, this and that. They will go out and they'll give it. While if, let's say you're sick, you want an extra blanket, you're calling your spouse. They're like, hold on, I'm coming. Give me 10 minutes. Let me finish it. Let me feed the kids. Then they'll come and give you the blanket. So they're here for society. And yes, you will see if you have Venus in Capricorn, there's disappointments in relationship and love that happens. So before you settle down, there's going to be disappointments. Venus in Aquarius, spouse is a giver. Spouse is a giver, but one thing you will see with Venus in Aquarius, they're extremely eccentric. They kind of lose the balance of when to do, what to do, and how to do it. Like, for example, 1 minute, or the best example would be they use the wrong timing to do wrong things, or wrong timing to do right things. They might laugh when they're supposed to be angry, and they'll get angry when things are supposed to be peaceful and quiet. It's something that you just can't understand with Venus and Aquarius. But one thing that they're for is activism, One thing they're there for is giving. The biggest giver is Aquarius, but you don't know what they're going to give and if you're going to like it, what they give, because it's a pot. Aquarius is that pot, and you don't know what's inside that pot. So you will always see that in Dreshkan, especially the moment that you get married, spouse suddenly starts doing all the external activities. They're becoming quite activist about towards certain things. Especially somehow they get involved with like dealing with older people, elderly people. And then, like I said, Venus in Pisces will be the most proudful. Now, Venus in Pisces is extremely lucky where a person can get fulfillment of their desires. Lakshmi has settled in the home. With Venus in Pisces in Dreshkan, not Navamsh, Dreshkan, Lakshmi has settled within the home. And you will see the more you do for your spouse, the more you get. The more you keep the Lakshmi of the house happy, the more you, because you now have become Vishnu, the more you're going to find your relaxation under the Nag or Shesh Nag, right? Because in this day and age, what is Shesh Nag? A house. When a person with Venus in Pisces gets married, Lakshmi brings in a beautiful Shesh Nag, meaning a beautiful home in a person's life. But yes, they're going to be very proudful, strongly arrogant. They're going to do what they're going to do, and that's it. That's their decision. So stubbornness is really going to come from Venus in Pisces, Venus in Taurus, Venus in Libra, and Venus in Scorpio. These four signs, like Venus in Virgo, they'll be a very strong error picker, looking at all the fine details. And Dreshkan, there's a lot more to Dreshkan. Please don't think that this is just the one thing. This is the end all and be all of marriage. There's so much more to Dreshkan. With the house and how certain planets from the birth chart are, like for example, if a planet is Vargotam from birth to Dreshkan, but sits in the 7th house, and especially is with Jupiter or with Venus, or Venus itself is in the 7th house, that's a Dhan Yoga. And it's a Raj Yoga in the Dreshkan. So there's all of these many things, but the thing is the video is going to be too long and I'm already shooting 2 raw footages. So I'm crazy, but my computer can't handle it. We'll discuss it some other time. All right. So anyway, this was our Venus in Dreshkan. And remember, I'm going to show you how the marriage timing secrets today on my blank chart prediction course. Thank you.